Speaker, in the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Samuel Gyamfi and Multimedia Group Ltd. at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/ACH/CC/C5/02/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Eric Adjei and Peace FM at the Chimota Circuit Court.
I'm saying, hey, Papa, now then I'll share with me and son. I will decide to be because and running rate here, we see. And the man saying, I about me and the influence and now say, Papa, on one can different.
The subject in question, if you go and sit somewhere and call me an extortionist, I'm sure people will give credit to your remarks because with all due deference to you, you have integrity. But if it is somebody who has been born as a liar, categorically making statements when he knew very well they were not true, and he has been consistent with saying, I do not see why people will give credence to that. But knowing Alexander Afenyo-Markin, because by God's grace, he is not a pauper. By God's grace, he has some blessings.
Now, you are making an allegation against the minority leader. And mind you, that has been their modus operandi any time that we come at them and we expose them about their incompetence and their bad governance. You shift attention from the substance of the matter. The substance of the matter is that there has been a loss.
Remember, Mr. Afenyo-Markin has been a one-time majority leader before. He has been the board chair of Ghana Water Company before. He has been the board chair of ECG. If it is so established that indeed extortion is part of his modus operandi, then the investigation is further expanded to his tenure as a majority leader, as the board chair of ECG and also Ghana Water Company, to see whether or not the debts that we even incurred in these areas were as a result of some of these behaviors. So
I know that always before say, Omati, say amount for Kika. Now, I'm so ready. Say, Omer heard the matter and say, what jurisdiction? And I'm saying, now, we want to catch it here. Say, more, Mama can't say more, I'm starting. Say, Mooney, I'm coming to say, you go for a while, Montuaso. Because, Sasa, well, let a lie, I see a woman who must be.
I have repeatedly said in this chamber that we should not consider ourselves as politicians as being in a special class that can commit crimes and get away with it. When those who steal goats and fowls and guinea fowls are sent to jail because they stole goats and fowls and guinea fowls. When those who steal rams to perform the outdooring of their children are sent to jail. When we steal millions of Ghana cedis as politicians, we think that we belong to a special class, and when law enforcement agencies come after us, we will protest. I believe that this country cannot progress with an attitude like that.
IMF resident representative in Ghana, Dr. Andren Alta, has described the country's economic recovery as quite impressive, saying key microeconomic indicators have performed better than initially. Alexander Afenyo-Markin's Afenyo. Case no ayahu. Afenyo-Markin finally, and also a Jesus Christ. And then we tag never so. Was Sue Sammy Gyamfi, Eric Adjei, Multimedia, and a Peace FM. I'm saying, hey. Now, station no so I almost hear them. Only they say of our guests and the mind. You see, you are Sammy Gyamfi and Fred extortionist. Multimedia and Kabi. Even though it's on platform. A friend is Eric Adjei got now Peace FM. I'm not afraid of extortionist. And yet, a Peace FM the kind, but say lie on farm. Now only me was I can't say no or kind of parliament. Now when I'm saying, my men come back and I'm searching him maybe. And I'm saying Kevin Taylor. Adi can't say me see a go away. until Ghana's information be Ghana be with the or say Papa na your friend of Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia, the flag bearer of the MPP, ne on the current leader of MPP. The waka adia to one say Afenyo-Markin. Ya can't say oh yes, extortionist. And I would say Owusu. Okay. Me ma umfa dimbone emeli di minority in parliament. Esa say me ba power e be di pa nti wo two options. And was patro emu dey here. Or say first one is either say over step aside as minority leader. Na ma hu say ene me ne uni asem bia. Ana say Chairman Kosi Sammy Gyamfi. Na Ghana fo hu say sa na unya extortionist. Me minority leader on te sa kai say no me catch you say Afenyo-Markin sa kwehia Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia. Ampa na Afenyo-Markin our parliament wasi just say bibia ye ready or they do court to create enti Sammy Gyamfi the CEO of GoldBod onye ready. I'm say now to me someone no sir. Now okay say in the issue of Chamaun to me the same thing that Kevin Taylor be catch say lawyer and the appear could be our lawyer match Chamaun to me kwakusia Bawumia no kwakusia Bawumia no only Samira Bawumia o man the dinner tem pasa no we no ga as adwuma na wa ntimi nye step aside papa no betena e interview say nya no kre bibia sensi on go hu Samira Bawumia chepa I am telling you better you say oh lawyer and the appear could be say final day judgment day no onye lawyer e ma Chamaun to me bi wajama lawyer touch nya afede wa na nu ya dia afede MPP for say de bi e kle ho fi ho say no lawyer touch nya any a friend say lawyer guy a friend say ni makon omo me take over of Chamaun to me case ye as MPP any order me say MPP enye Chamaun to me I'm saying na Kevin Taylor was telling the truth all this while and na say no kura dia na Bawumia person Afenyo-Markin say na answer no be make his allegation no e dey no so information for who on to make allegation ni friend ni beto boabo na ne na pibi so enti we are sure say empty sir na court ye be hu no kre anase case we say 1 year 2 years ni aniwe ye be hwe no na case close me person me hu because Afenyo-Markin asase na so on see no na me feel say am guilty but say here also say obesiwi case ni asesa. The Speaker of Parliament, Albert Sumani bag me say, Obama Kwame Sammy Gyamfi aba Parliament. Abi church ni semu. Enti na ibe unu kra no $1.7 billion. E go board na bo saka na Bank of Ghana. Ghana ba be de. E ba be buta ba. Question is say Afenyo-Markin we innocent and also we guilty. Catch my comment section na say subscribe so we niwa. Na like share ma unia esunya bi hwe because Ghana I had the say hit what massive billion I will naked to the old burger trends. To was not me brush and send me more come on. We say about consensus here meaning deal rough. And our parliamentarians on which almost I am a pet. Okay, my man started with this. Okay, sir. Okuda Tabla in opposition. When MPP also vetting time or step aside. Okay. Allegation de ba say amanfo jidiska e ma amanfo pass through enti na Ghana ye nya vetting minister kro want man defane agriculture krampo no owie no agriculture won owie no we minister enti ha de ye normal o hwe obetwe de sika wuram sisie e ade e course of parliament wo guys say omo parliamentarians including how reduce nangasa e be make that kind of rumor na na ye say omo say me meji double pay MPP former misika kakra nti ase meye government bid at the mom 3 we me kan di omo maka o nti we content bi ani bebia omo na e kan omasem 3 yenya honorable muntaka a o se me nti se how reduce wa o metima man sika wana je no vetting we e be twe omaso pa ene e time a MPP ni NDC na pai 136 ta vetting so mu ye sika kama eno na okuja tabla kwa training we say as a man for jisika fast here intimi nye biu. So there have been allegations severally for parliamentarians so mujisika and so many certain businesses and to Finish it all. The only time about say minority ni majority, umu na no when you money sharing. On say esgracia, bako side bako reject na bako kan ainda. Umu na kan ain boom. Only when it's policies. I be favor me no me no as ordinary citizens no. That's the only time they fight among themselves. But sikano so umu na be nya dia. Omanu kom, omanu din. But ni na chi Afenyo-Markin say ono de wanye na adwin say o extort obi a de $1 million bia. Enti Sammy Gyamfi a friend is saying Eric Adjei Multimedia Peace FM Odomako Accra High Court Achimota Circuit Court say omo defame no omo say ni din onye ne paketwa ohinimu a ohinimu a outside minority leader ubegu de nim ase emfa.
Speaker, in the face of the allegations of extortion leveled against me, I have chosen to take high moral ground by submitting myself to the processes of the law. I have accordingly caused writs to be filed in suit number GT 1029/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Samuel Gyamfi and Multimedia Group Ltd. at the Accra High Court, and suit number GR/ACH/CC/C5/02/2026, entitled Osahin Alexander Afenyo-Markin versus Eric Adjei and Peace FM at the Achimota Circuit Court. I have every confidence that in the fullness of time, the court will make the appropriate determination on these matters. Mr. Speaker, I also await with bated breath that the man or the men who made the allegation will have the courage to report the matter to the police or the OSP or any investigating agency in this country. And I expect that if they muster the courage to report that I have extorted from them and I am invited, I shall submit myself to every investigation so that eventually my name is cleared. Mr. Speaker, there is a limit to political discourse. There are lines that must not be crossed, and these red lines, once crossed, they must be dealt with. Mr. Speaker, I can modestly and humbly say that I have served in this position with integrity. I came into this office a man of hard work with determination, and I have achieved for myself what I have to do for myself, my family, and my constituents. Mr. Speaker, I work with clear conscience and with fidelity to the responsibilities entrusted to me. I say so without more.
I'm saying, hey, Papa, now then I'll share about me and son. I will decide so this because and running rate here, unsiu. And the man saying, I about me and the influence na say Papa no one can the different. I said, yeah, Untakoya Gakuni. Boys say, oh, Kobona Sunia Yampata. Akwabi, yes, I'll be ready to area. Ye, Yabuniki Kuno. Also, Bonasunya Pata, Bonasunya Pata. I'll quite the boss, ye, just Untaquan Nadi, ye. Sana Cosso and Ninchano, who couldn't afford a bra. And you want a panty way. Say, Afenyo-Markin, Ampanyampa, or yeah. But me, I pray not to a Simon. And Auntie, now offer fate with minority leadership. No, na say, when you go Guasia, because Afenyo-Markin, no. Now, you know, allergy say, Honorable Muntaka, Interior Minister. South software now, they buy your recruitment. No, Chrono because who? Oh, Anna Muntaka, sir, Masama to privilege committee. Young no creno, say Ampa, so now can no cry, Nasa me, and a midino cray. I didn't see no patcho. I didn't see ya. I don't patcho say, first come down, Uba, bought to Magana, and then come vloggers, ye did the answer. What you all already said the deputy health minister, Grace Ayesu, as a warrior, while found baby Kululu Binikan and Nabi Nemano, our deputy. No, Ama ya chat, Zenator Ajimaroles about any diamano. A true vet of this woman, no patcho. Or the parliament clerk at them say, as or yet the bidding of at that time friends say NDC owe additional patch na nu ya cameraman crocodile na tem enso additional patch enti ono so de onimacho passes ya yo ti we no enya asem na yede na edukotumi because ono ayo ebi otaka asem na wasesa na no asa be patch ayo na asem no de boba. I wait with bated breath that the men who made the allegation will have the courage to report the matter to the police, OSP, and I expect if they muster the courage to report that I've extorted from them, if I am invited, I shall submit myself to every investigation so that eventually my name is cleared. And you honor we say odo mo court for defamation no. O say Sammy Gyamfi Eric Adjei. So ampanyampa o say omo o extort omo a. Oh, say OSP say Yoko. Ana ebetima adisi asem ya momfa nkomo mo. Na your friend so that be friend bi obeba. Eno so ma memo another for. Okay say Yoko efo eche chama wuntumi. Na Afenyo-Markin leading minority friends members. Emam got na form say school ngwala no. As school under 3 omu wie no wie ye pe. Police for omu try say omu prevent omu ne yi no. Afenyo-Markin ko bo police ne busie pampan. Owie ye say Ghana for aid na tell say as a leader in parliament who now calls assault say your ordinary person ke bechi no monche no ono no sakotwe letter tin describing how police ni bone ani so ema na ni so biri na ma omode ne ko wura a friend say washroom na odi so hu na ni man sana na ni so etne wine anya sanka otumi twa hwe kora ma ne yi me say hey Afenyo no yatuma bu o say ono gbade o say bo ne bo na ye bo ma wani tu chama we die eno so ye pe video ya hu but video Afenyo-Markin bo police ni we hu eno police for no ye na nu ya investigation ko end ya ye say ono wana aye report ni establish you by yenche no oda so nam ho parliament immunity minim sa de nje mo sa immunity no ono na ye di more responsibility man more privileges no ono no edu law na ya exempt no na the ordinary people no ana na ebre enti de bia na Afenyo-Markin person ke che ordinary citizens omo mwe board any a friend say tomatoes ni je ne nyanche omo na edu omo parliamentarians na scratch my back ono taka omo de nka yen mo omo special law bi yen piswe mu hum mo na ye de honorable titles nka mo ni nokure no mo no mo na mo say mo pese ye mo dadaba last born treatment me serious oh marry mu but ne kura o say Sammy Gyamfi mama friend extortionist keke mo so mo fan ko Yoko na I don't know why na Yoko ni OSP kura chairman Sammy Gyamfi mom aba report the case mo am take the matter no on mo ya Sammy Gyamfi any Eric Adjei ebe mo witness Afenyo-Markin any the accused person and they be ameka you say you are innocent till proven guilty at the same time you are guilty to prove till you are proven innocent because say yenka so bokro no anam say kro no bi enfanto so by you to so nko ade a ese ye wi uti be prove say amba o mo kro no you have explanation to do nti mo ma sa ade na nto asoso na nka ye hu ne tentem na according to Jerry Ahmed deputy minority whip now no ba parliament da be a mo man sa position knowing Afenyo-Markin he is not a pauper he will not or shall not extort from anyone especially from Sammy Gyamfi. He wants to divert attention and distract people from dealing with the issues surrounding GoldBod, Bank of Ghana, and their 22 billion loss. Now you want to call someone an extortionist.
Let me make the point. I will do so. The subject in question, if you go and sit somewhere and call me an extortionist, I'm sure people will give credit to your remarks because with all due deference to you, you have integrity. But if it is somebody who has been born as a liar, categorically making statements when he knew very well they were not true, and he has been consistent with saying, I do not see why people would give credence to that. But knowing Alexander Afenyo-Markin, which was, by God's grace, he is not a pauper. By God's grace, he has some blessings. He will not and he shall not extort from anyone, especially Sammy Gyamfi. He shall not. As a legal practitioner who is supposed to understand the laws and how criminal procedure operates, the expectation would have been that if you are calling someone, if you are saying somebody has extorted from you or is extorting from you, you would have gone to the police. You would have made your case. The police would have investigated the matter, and then the police would then find this person culpable or liable would now go to the extent of what? Taking an action, including prosecuting this person. But you waited because you want to divert attention and distract people from dealing with the issues of GoldBod and Bank of Ghana and the 22 billion loss. Now you want to call somebody an extortionist. We are not going to be distracted. We are not going to go away from dealing with the 22 billion loss that GoldBod and Bank of Ghana have cost the Ghanaian people. And if you want to know, find out the basic questions. Who are the off-takers? How are you able to determine discounts? Who determines discounts? Who determines the forest rate? If the forest rate is 10 cedis per dollar, who now says that, okay, let's pay 5 cedis per dollar? Who is saying that, okay, discounting from 100 pounds per whatever to 50? Who is determining that? And we don't want to talk about it.
What the majority has said is that those questions you are asking, you could RTI it from the central bank and GoldBod. Why is that not an option?
My dear, this is even one of the conversations they are having. That there is even a grand scheme or a grand agenda by the minority leader that people file RTIs and they are doing it on behalf of the minority leader as a means of extorting. Can you imagine the kind of conversation we are talking about? If people are trying to find out your patience, if people are trying to find out how you do your things, it is because it is the minority leader. Now, we cannot ask for accountability because it is Sammy Gyamfi and GoldBod. This is somebody who has been stealing all manner of lives since you have known him. And people did not even take him on the way he's going about. The moment you start asking questions, today we are hearing that there is even an overdraft of 1 billion. And they don't want us to talk about it. Then you come and issue a statement that
I mean, GoldBod has denied that claim, says it's not true.
Well, what have they not denied? Didn't they even deny the 240 million losses when we even said it was 240? Go to the records and check. When we even said it was 240 million, they denied. Unbeknownst to us, it was even 22 billion.
Ati Jerry Ahmed, the minority whip, as well supporting the boss, say, me boss na me meaning nedie. Onko Jessica mfiri obia ho na nka mposo obedi sika na ekoye Sammy Gyamfi no sa akwa sika firi no Sammy Gyamfi say oso uhia $1 million na case na oni gu ne su ni na we ye firi so ni say ne kura na me say mbe de papa eni asem na afa na mu abede ekọ asefua esoso minority side or say prove your claims against the minority leader.
The minority leader is a lawyer. The GoldBod CEO is a lawyer. He knows that the basic principle in law is that he who alleges must prove. Now, you are making an allegation against the minority leader. And mind you, that has been their modus operandi any time that we come at them and we expose them about their incompetence and their bad governance. Shift attention from the substance of the matter. The substance of the matter is that there has been a loss, which loss has not been denied by Bank of Ghana or the GoldBod. In fact, you remember last year when the minority raised issue about the $214 million loss. At the time, the Bank of Ghana had not even completed its fate review. When the fate review came, that was when we realized that yes, the losses were even bigger than the 214 that we mentioned. And now we are finding out that when the fate review was done, the losses are about 1.7 billion, which is about 22 billion. But initially, remember, GoldBod denied. Bank of Ghana also denied. But today, none of them are denying these losses. So the losses are very important. Ghanaians are interested. The opportunity cost of these losses is what I'm interested in. And journalists, you should be interested in the opportunity cost.
Also, what there Sammy Gyamfi say, say also Sammy Gyamfi ampa say Afenyo-Markin is edge $1 million. Now I can't know to prove it. I'm saying, hey, 1 man supporters. I just wait a friend home support now. It's you man home support come on. Now Solomon Owusu director of communication at the United Party. Papa was say adini na. Or say Afenyo-Markin's response to the extortion allegation was unserious as he played hanky-panky with it. We want Sammy Gyamfi to substantiate his allegation.
Right, Solomon, I want us to look at that petition. What exactly did you put together for the OSP to look at?
So the petition is very simple. I mean, on the 19th of August 2026, there was an accountability series, and the person that addressed the forum was the CEO of GoldBod, Mr. Sammy Gyamfi. He made certain allegations against the minority leader, Mr. Afenyo-Markin, to the extent that he is an extortionist. And you know, under our constitution or under our criminal code, extortion constitutes a crime. So we looked at the banter. Afenyo-Markin responded. There wasn't any seriousness to attach to that bit that alleged that he had engaged in some sort of extortion, but rather played hanky-panky with it. Then Sammy Gyamfi again on Saturday on Newsfile re-echoed that position that indeed Afenyo-Markin has engaged or attempted to extort, and that he was daring Afenyo-Markin to sue him or have him have a common program so that he could expose Afenyo-Markin. And we realized that if we did not take care, this thing was going to be reduced into a radio and TV discussions back and forth where we would not be able to see any conclusive outcome. It's the reason why, together with my brother Pierre Dankwa, we said we needed to save the state. There are institutions. I mean, the institutions that we have petitioned didn't need us to petition, but we have realized that some institutions on their own will not act if we do not petition. So the petition is to bring to fore or to cause Sammy Gyamfi not to be dared to provide the evidence to show or to save this country. Because if a minority leader who is operating within the confines of the Constitution, who has a fiduciary duty to the state, I mean, the role that he plays, he's supposed to use it to serve all of us our interests and not to line his pocket. And if an allegation is being made to the extent that all that he's doing is to extort money from people in public offices, then he's behaving outside the remit of the Constitution. As a citizen of this country, that would be the last thing. Flouting the Constitution with impunity means we don't have any democracy. So we want Sammy Gyamfi to substantiate the allegations against Mr. Afenyo-Markin. Remember, Mr. Afenyo-Markin has been a one-time majority leader before. He has been the board chair of Ghana Water Company before. He has been the board chair of ECG. If it is so established that indeed extortion is part of his modus operandi, then the investigation is further expanded to his tenure as a majority leader, as the board chair of ECG and also Ghana Water Company, to see whether or not the debts that we even incurred in these areas were as a result of some of these behaviors. So it's a very serious matter that we attach all the importance to it, all the seriousness to it.
If you almost say in your man, I quite the and petition OSP said OSP here anymore. Now I know that OSP before say or mate say man for keka. Now almost ready. Say or heard the matter and say what jurisdiction. And I'm saying now we want to catch here. Say more make say more na start. Say money amon come on to say you go for na wa amon to aso. Because say say we there. Wallahi tell lie. I see you ne puma sibreu. Say Afenyo-Markin age sika na mpa and say Sammy Gyamfi na air divert attention every 22 billion so. I see you no kure no. Enya politics as usual. They bia sa Ghana tantan no. Afred dey enya sa yen tell sa kra. E di OSP and na make say press conference kra guso a o ekoso. Say they say no dey besi bia no mega na fati. Say eh Afenyo-Markin ampa na oye na adwin so o di 1 million na no. Sa no Sammy Gyamfi record ya na. Na say one record ya. And say your word against his word. Baby who indeed I know say esia. Yemu say and how many times and other MPs also I the same thing against this friends the CEOs. Then say hey say you need that also you chigu ho. You chigu ho. Just a man you chigu ho say you chigu ho say. Just a omo dey business chop nko and ya semba ya hey corruption we dey see we mistake ha ye blow no ama Ghana fu na bete hu be mobo twia nze no twia kakra na se we dey as driver twia bribe mama police ni pe oh ene Ghana bribe ne tuntwa why ne tuntwa da we dey ene dey tu betwe se na Majority Leader Mahama Ayariga I say we should not consider ourselves as politicians as being in a special class that can commit crimes and get away with it. When those who steal goats and fowls are sent to jail, when we steal millions of cedis, think we belong to a special class. This country cannot progress with an attitude like that.
I want to also say in response to my colleague, the minority leader, that I believe that this is a country where there is full assurance of freedom of speech, both in the chamber and outside the chamber. And I don't believe that there's any political targeting of anybody freely expressing themselves either in this chamber or outside this chamber. At the same time, I also don't believe that anybody should try to use this chamber or any platform to intimidate the law enforcement agencies when they are cracking down on criminal conduct, be they conduct of politicians, of ordinary armed robbers, of any other citizen. Crime is crime. We believe that we pass laws in this house so that they will be enforced outside there. When the law enforcement agencies are enforcing those laws, we should not come and stand in this chamber and bastardize them and try to intimidate them and try to give their conduct political coloration. It does not help. I have repeatedly said in this chamber that we should not consider ourselves as politicians as being in a special class that can commit crimes and get away with it. When those who steal goats and fowls and guinea fowls are sent to jail because they stole goats and fowls and guinea fowls. When those who steal rams to perform the outdooring of their children are sent to jail. When we steal millions of Ghana cedis as politicians, we think that we belong to a special class, and when law enforcement agencies come after us, we will protest. I believe that this country cannot progress with an attitude like that. And so I don't believe that it is fair when the law enforcement agencies are doing their work for us to come to this chamber and try to bastardize those law enforcement agencies. Mr. Speaker.
That way, I respond and no dema minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin. Who say Afenyo-Markin ever say or money look like say yet politician tuma witch hunting a political prisoner. Near decorating your man and Tade kama at the Ashano. I know say they be Momo Mokrono Cassia. Messrs. Mekaya Quano Korea cement bako. I am on 10 years now. Namakuma. Obian Korea Sabura do. We insanya empathetic class account. Sister Ghana, Yamon says yes. Yes, I do not 10 Ghana be 1 year. Yamon sister series row. Pharmacy we are now fan channel. Your attendant now or no so fan channel. Police officer now bet you no so can one cause okay me German. Court just a judge moi. Ah, we school a lawyer pen. Other than the judge. Ultimately na see you ahwe Nyankopon anim ne bonse batiko. Esi sasabura do sister cities. And your money says yes. That be a me that video na makoma. Na obati wo yo me 51 million. Ono oda mu pode. Ya nche no. Okokota we. Na nu ya ikwabena dubu ahen. Ne case ye di no over 1 year. 49 million Ghana cedis. Or that's what they feel, or done the king size bed so. They are such an expensive entirely. Allegation upon allegation, they are two politicians. So none of them are in jail. Tama to me, the great man, jail, none ye. Add the man presidential pardon. Or no, now, no, what say a whole community no. You see a man president. This kind of nonsense that goes on in this country. Say, I hear when you pa. Kakra wa hona we politician na wa power. Me say, man we no, eso be a pesca. Na yin na ekugu parliament o mumiem yin na enkoye parliamentarians say bia mra no eduru enche ye nia na Gyamfi e na Afenyo-Markin sepe but Mahama Ayariga say masa ye kura na nkai se nkamra na ye de boy kese. And I keep on saying this. One can lead now on Singapore, every poverty mu, or no obesua structures, every Ghana from Kwame Nkrumah, what they call Singapore. He started dealing with the ministers. Say, Mona mema more responsibility, Mona Musumi di kama. Inti wo, we are corrupt, uko bribe, we are not be bribe, one a medical show up punish you first. Or start your Musumi and about citizens. So, yeah, the ordinary citizen now, or no arm robber, a thief. Where we are, will be iPhone, what you know, soon as and go pen robbers, you 000. Or maybe an idea 10,000. No, I could do 100,000. I could do 1 million. They give to a worry. Or Timmy create on one nippers any among 82 years, no more national service. Now pension and 60 years. As soon as we, ya Timmy document Yakoma, accountant and control general, no, we trace a 2 mamma. No, what imagine I know so they call loan, oh, ADB bank. Now, on that's one more. Now we are on crowd circle a blast stars event. No one, Jesus Christ. Now, my way is serious. I don't know, see. But Mahama Ayariga, what can you say? No, politically, you said that as we say, on also or position, on prefer the same privilege. Honya seven because make I also the case. I better know a very sports minister. I can't go by no better team. Hey, or call off come back up by. When I were interested in football, what to team. Now, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, resident representative in Ghana, Dr. Andren Alta, has described the country's economic recovery as quite impressive, saying key microeconomic indicators have performed better than initially expected under the IMF supported program. Omo IMF nankasa to me a projection near beating. As I call out, Ukosqua de Bia Feli, and almost okay, this time around, oh dear. And near last, my last but one, near Monk was secret. I feel by ya, 1 hour to 10. That is what BT expectation. But that's the IMF will now tell us, yes, a friend, the GoldBod about 1.7 billion. Then I MPP will run away with this narrative. This is no, Yenti IMF for no, and as Yenti Ghana, your Auditor General. Because this would have been Auditor General Najuma. And come on, say, your Bank of Ghana for your auditor Monomoboka. Your GoldBod for your auditor Moboka, not IMF. I don't know, they be a man or Mona Moti or Momansono. They are living in a comfortable friends country. Then they'll be telling us, your economy the air to ye. So, they say in Ghana, you know, Equia, I say, realm. Say, Enquia, this is Tiomo. Ye Nanka say, Tim, yen to me who say, Koye, and I say, Enquia. This is what I don't get. So we listen to IMF. And as a younger young state institution, or the Auditor General, I only saw the today. Yet one in this IMF, this World Bank, Bibi and says almost pay some that. But they say on one head dance to Mutune. About a friend saying, go near a sad one kitty. You will problem. You will problem will marry him. The same IMF for now, and Afenyo-Markin, your girlfriend extortionist no. Also, I say about the same economy now. You did the same GoldBod Sikano. I did go boost your forest now. Must be about 1.7 billion. So which is which one you listen to? But Nekwakwan says Sammy Gyamfi, Yasu Eric Adjei, Yasu Peace FM, and Multimedia. We every the Minority Leader Afenyo-Markin. Now, Ampanyampa, we know what mini business. Ebomia and the Esmano, and also on and Kevin Taylor. We are seven. The Kevin Taylor can also sign officer at here information that when you say Bomia and Nayanas and Afenyo-Markin say obey position 90 NTR. So we know Ampanampa so or extortion Sammy Gyamfi. Send them go as you. Nanka wa untusu say odi him ho beti na yentehwe. Dan say obey position a opay tinti. Na woni makogu as. And as at the end of the day, Sammy Gyamfi mo na obefere. Time will tell. But for now, you make your projections. Catch me our comment section. Now say, so when you are subscribing, like it, share. When you are so energy and remedy, no ever maxi billion. I will naked to the old Boga trends. Bye bye.